guys, I'm Jocelyn and I'll be leading today's presentation. And if you remember me, I did the pet care badge last time and today I'm going to go over your hiker badge. So let's get into it. All right. So right here you see in the middle in this little triangle with a badger wearing a pink backpack and holding a stick. That is your hiker badge. So at the end of today's presentation, you will have your badge. So here's what you need to know to become a Brownie hiker. So let's get ready for an adventure. So there's 5 steps and we're going to go over all of them. 1, we're going to decide where to go. 2, you're going to try out a hiking skill. 3, you're going to pick the right gear. 4, you're going to learn how to pack a snack for energy. And 5, by the end of all this, you'll be ready to go on a hike. So step 1, decide where to go. And this one's going to require a little bit of homework. I have a little handout for you to use so you can decide where you want to go. But it's important to find out where you can hike in your area because some distances look short on a map, but they're actually quite long. And I've experienced that, unfortunately. My friends and I went on a hike once and thought it would be like an hour or 2 max. It took us 6 hours. So it's really, really important to do your homework. And it's also really important to work with an adult when you choose where you want to hike. That's perfect for you. So there's 2 types of places you can go walking or hiking, and one is in a park. Most of the time, parks are more contained and controlled and have a clear paved route where you can take. And they usually have like some good seating areas like benches, and some even have water fountains. Hiking trails are out in nature. They have different kinds of signs that you can follow, but it's not a clear path like it is in a park. And also you have to pack some gear so you can be ready because there isn't always a clear store nearby or a water fountain that you can use. So you need to be ready. So because I know you all are in the South Texas area, I listed 4 potential areas you can go, but of course you can always pick a different one. Do some homework with your parents and decide where you want to go. I've done I'm probably butchering this, Ford's Nature and Hiking Trail before in Rio Grande City, as you can see right here. That one is a little tricky, so please go with an adult and really, I would pack a first aid kit because it's not a very clear, it's really bumpy. Something more easier to do would be going to Fort Ringel Park and walking around that because it's more paved. And then I haven't been to these last 2, but the beauty about going to state parks is that when you go to them, they usually have a map for you. So you can use that map and make a path for you. So you can either go to either of these state parks that are in Mission. But again, you can do some homework by using this handout, doing a little research and deciding what's good for you and your parent so you can go on a nice little hiking trail. And then a little fun. Write down what you see. Do you see some cool birds? Do you see some awesome plants? Have some fun and write down what you want to see on your hike. Step 2, we're going to try out a hiking skill. And because it's important, the more skills you learn, the more fun it's going to be. So we're going to go over how to read some most common uses of hiking trail signs and markers and blazes. Because trails just don't spontaneously appear. They are planned, built and blazed so people can travel safely from the trailhead to the summit and beyond. And the purpose of trail markers or blazes is to help hikers follow a given path. It is used to indicate things such as the beginning or the end of a trail, a change of direction, or intersection. Because remember, it's out in nature, so it's not going to be a clear route. You have to look for the signs. So these are the 6 common types of trailblazes that are used in the US and Canada. The most popular one is paint, and we'll go over that. There's posts, there's etchings, cairns or ducks, and that's a pile of rocks. We'll get into it. There's affixed markers, and there's flags. So paint. Paint is the most commonly used to mark a hiking trail, as you can see right here. In the US and in Canada, the standard marking system uses rectangles in different configurations to guide hikers. So we'll explain the meaning of each configuration in an activity handout at the end because this is the most commonly used in trails, at least in the US and in Canada. But trailblaze colors have no purpose other to represent an individual trail. In other words, trails are typically marked in one single color from beginning to end. Like in the Appalachian Trail, for example, they use white, but other trails may use yellow or orange or red. It just depends on the trail you're on, but they're not going to change throughout the route. If they do, that's because you're on another route. Cairns or ducks, as you can see here, are a pile of rocks that hikers leave alongside their path to mark a trail and guide other trekkers. They're usually found above tree line or in areas where trees are spaced or sparse. Cairns vary in height, as you can see here. This is a really tall one, but they usually rise high enough to stand out from the surrounding landscape and be easily noticed. Smaller stacks of stones, about three or four, like right here, are called ducks, and they also make great visual cues for hikers. Posts. Now, posts on trail signs or markers are commonly used on ridge lines, rocky outcrops, or wherever else stones and trees are not available. So posts can also be very useful in areas where high snowfall are likely to obscure cairns. So if you don't see a pile of rocks, you're probably going to see a post. Affix markers. Now, this is an alternative to paint markers. Some trailblazers use markers made out of metal, plastic, or wood that they nailed onto trees. Because paint can fade, affixed markers may sound like a more durable approach to trailblazing. However, it is not uncommon for these signs to fall off or get stolen, which is why paint markers still end up being the more reliable option. So you may see some nailed onto a tree, and that's a very good marker for you to use, but if they're not there, the first one's probably going to be there, the paint one. Now, etchings. An etching is a name given to a trail sign that is carved onto a tree, like you see right here. Although it's effective, clearly, right? We can see it. It's not really used anymore because it causes irreversible damage. Like we don't want to damage trees anymore or nature in general. You want to leave exactly how it was. So this one's not as popular anymore, but it can be used from time to time. Now, the last common one is flags. Now, some trails are blazed with flagging, tape or ribbons instead of paint or fixed markers. Each flag is tied around a tree branch or trunk that can be easily spotted from the trail. And the same thing with color. You're probably going to see the same color along the same route. If you see a different color, you're probably heading in another route. So this is your activity. So paint blazes, how to read them. There's 6 configurations, as you see here. You can see if there's 2 on the bottom and 1 on top, that's the start of the trail. If it's the opposite, 2 on top and 1 on the bottom, that's the end of a trail. If you just see 1 rectangular painted on a tree, you're going straight. If you see 2 on the painted on the left and 1 on the right, you're heading off into a different trail. And then 1 lower left, 1 higher right, like you see right here, is a right turn. And if it's the opposite, it's the left turn. Now, this is for you to keep, to use for your own reference, and then test your skills. Draw out what's a right turn, continue straight, or end of a trail. Now, step 3, we're going to pick the right gear. Now, I can say this depends. Okay, this is I'm going to go over very basic items because depending where you live, depending where you're going, depending on the season, the weather, there's different things you may need, but we're going to go over the top 10 essentials because if you play a sport, think of it this way. If you play a sport, you need to have the right gear as well. Like if you play baseball, you need cleats. If you play basketball, you need sneakers. Same thing on hiking trails. Depending where you are, you're going to need certain things. But here's the top 10 essentials. You're going to need a day pack. You're going to need some good footwear. You're going to need good clothing. You're going to need some kind of navigation item, a light slash lamp with extra batteries because you never know. You need a first aid kit, some emergency items like if you're allergic to anything in nature, you're going to need your medication. Some protection items and gear. It's always good to be protecting your skin. Food and water. And then some kind of tool or repair kit that you can use just in case. So first off, you need good hiking gear like a day pack. And there's different versions out there. There's a day pack, there's a hydration pack, and I'll show you that in a second. You can just bring your water bottle and carry it on a sling, or you can have as much as a waist pack. I usually do a waist pack and because my trails are not very long, but I do have a hydration pack, which I have used in other trails, which let me show you. So this is my hydration backpack. There's different sizes. I have a pretty small one. And what makes this unique is that it keeps your water cool, and this is your water container. So it can fit quite a bit of water. And how you drink it is through this tube. They have a little direction, and you drink it throughout your trail. When would you need something like this? I would say anything more than a 2-hour hike, you're going to need a lot of water. So this was really helpful when I did my trail in Arizona. But most of the time, I'll just do a sling of a water bottle. So those are the four different kind of hiking gear you can use. I've used all of them before. It just depends what you need. And if you're unsure what you need, you can always, when you're going out shopping, when you're at that store, you can ask a sale representative and they'll help you pick what you need. Then you need footwear. And I always believe in investing in footwear. It's important to protect your feet. I've pretty much have had a pair of all of these before, except maybe a trail running shoe because I don't run. I usually walk, but if you're a runner and want to run on the trails, that's a good shoe for you. I've done the hiking boots. I actually prefer the hiking boot because I have weak ankles, but hiking shoes are good. I've done that before. And then I've also invested in hiking sandals because when would you need a hiking sandal? Well, if there's a lake or a pond at the end of your trail and you want to get in, that would be the best time to use it, is have a hiking sandal. But again, if you're unsure of what you need, whenever you go shopping, you can ask the salesperson and they'll direct you into what you need. Clothing. So there is clothing directed for hiking. Usually it's moist wickening kind of shirt that will help you with moisture. But if you don't want to invest in this, that's okay. Any kind of athletic leisure you have will work as well. Most of the time, if you ever Google hikers, they'll have these kind of pants that have zippers around the tops, they can turn into shorts. So that is a possibility. But leggings would work as well. And then I always wear a long sleeve shirt, which is recommended. It protects you from sun or bugs. And it doesn't, those, just because it's long sleeve doesn't mean it's hot. It's built, like it's moisture wickening. It's a thin, long shirt. It just helps protect you. But these are just some of the items you need. Basically, some kind of athletic leisure is what you need for clothing. And you can invest either in a lightweight fleece or jacket, even moist wickening underwear, or socks like synthetic or wool. Now, when you go on a hike, it's important to have some kind of navigation item. It can be a map or a compass. I think maps vary because depending if you're going to a state park, like Falcon State Park, there's a map. You can take a picture at the beginning of your trail, or sometimes they have some that you can take with you. If they don't provide that, then a compass is good, or even your smartphone, because there's a lot of apps out there that it can help you, like All Trails, Gaia, Bar Out, that can help you around your ride. There's also guidebooks you can buy, and there's certain watches or GPS that could be just as helpful. So, depending on which route you want to go, as long as you have some kind of navigation item, that's important. Then you need some kind of light, and I really believe in that because you never know. It gets a lot darker sometimes, or we don't think about a hike. Like I said at the beginning, sometimes we think a hike is a lot shorter than it is, and then it's a lot longer. So just in case, it's important to have some kind of light, whether it's a headlamp. I prefer this because it keeps your hands open and available. You don't have to be carrying it like a flashlight, but if you have a flashlight, that works as well. And of course, it's always important to pack a few extra batteries. Then a first aid kit is another thing you need to pack because you never know. And I say this, I just had packed one time this little one, and it saved another hiker who was with us because they fell and scraped their knee. And that was beneficial because they didn't have it, but I did. So accidents happen. It's important to pack one. It could be a little one that you see in the travel area, or you can invest in one that's directed for hiking and it has more materials, but you do want to pack a first aid kit. Emergency items. So this varies for each person. I say a whistle, and I'm going to age myself because there was a show when I was younger called Barney, and they talked about when you're out and you're lost in the woods, you blow on your whistle. I always pack a whistle because of that. So I think a whistle is important. Heaven forbid you get lost and you need someone to try to find you, you blow on your whistle. Surely someone will hear it and find you. It may not be right away, but it's a good indicator. Of course, if you're allergic to anything, it's important to pack your medication or your EpiPen. General medication like ibuprofen, Advil would work just in case, because insect bites can happen. And then emergency shelter. This depends on where kind of hike you're going on, but they're pretty inexpensive, especially the emergency blanket. I want to say it's like $8, and it doesn't hurt to have it because, again, things happen. An emergency bivy is a little different. It's more for winter, and that one's a little bit more expensive. So if you're doing a hike more in wintertime, go with an emergency bivy. If you're going with something shorter and just in case, emergency blanket's not that is a good one to keep because it's light and it's only about, I want to say $5 to $10. Like it's pretty cheap. Then, of course, it's always important to protect your skin, and there's different items you can use. You can pack some sunblock or sunscreen, sunglasses to protect your eyes. Now, if you drop them all the time, you should probably get the sunglasses strap so you can hold them on. You need some kind of hat or cap. I personally like the hat just because it covers you all the way around, but a cap also works. And then we always forget about our lips, but there is SPF lip balm as well. So just protect yourself. Food and water. It's good to carry some snacks. More importantly, any kind of water. There's so many water bottles out there. Just pack water. It's important. Then you're going to want some kind of snack. And the next activity, we're going to talk about making your own trail mix, but there's prepackaged ones, or you can just pack a granola bar. Now, another item that we're going to semi-talk over is a resealable bag or trash bag. Basically, whatever you bring, you need to take with you, right? So if you have trash, this is where it's going to go in a resealable bag. It can go into one of these, a Ziploc bag, or a little trash bag, but you want to carry your trash. Don't just throw it out in nature because there won't be trash bins along the way. At a park there will, but not on a trail. So whatever trash you have to keep it with you so you can throw it at the end. Because it's important to leave no trace. So when you go on a trail, you want to plan ahead. That's why we're going over all of this. You want to stay on the trail. This is why we're learning your signs. And whatever you carry out, you're going to carry in. So if you bring snacks and it has wrappers, you're also going to carry it with you and throw it at the end. It's very important to leave nature as you find it. And it's also important to be careful and mindful around fire, be respectful with wildlife, and be considerate with other visitors. So there could be other hikers. You just want to leave no trace and be respectful. Now with that, the last item you need to go into is tools and repair. This is just in case. You never know. Things can happen along the way. If something breaks, you can fix it. What's most commonly used is a pocket knife, but you may not be old enough for this. Your parents can hold it, or you can get a multi-tool that doesn't have a sharp object, or depending on what kind of gear you have, you can get a small gear repair kit. But you want to be prepared for things. So the handout I had, there's two. So one is from Recoup. It is like a outdoor store, and they have a hiking checklist for 2 hours or less, and that's what I went over with you. They also have different checklists, so you can go check them out, and you want to do a different kind of hike, they have some checklists for you that you can go use. And then let's put your skills to the test. Do you remember what we talked about? This is another activity, and then the goal is to write the correct term to each of these items. Now, step 4, let's talk about snacks. It's important to pack a snack for energy because sometimes you need that. Trails can be long and your energy slowly drops and you want to pick it back up. So it's important to pick your favorite healthy snack to take with you on the trail. So today we're going to go over Gorp, which is good old raisins and peanuts, which is like a trail mix. And you can use any of these ingredients and mix it up and either mix them in a bowl and then separate them to smaller bags later on. But you can use different kind of nuts. You can use dry fruit. You can use chocolate chips, pretzels, or even yogurt chips to make your trail mix. So here's your handout. And here's what you need to make your own. From here, my goal is to pick 5 ingredients. You can color them or circle them. What's going to go in your trail mix bag. And then go shopping. Go buy it and make it yourself. Now we're on step 5 and you're ready to go on your hike. So now that you learned all these skills, you know you have your map, you have your backpack, and your new hiking skills, you are ready to go. And you can print this out to have a mini scavenger hunt along your way, or you can plan out, what do you want to see along your hike? Do you want to see an acorn, yellow leaf, or rock? Write it down. Write it down and then see what you find. But now, yay, you are ready and you are now getting your hiker badge. So now you can show your friends how to get ready for a hike. You can make Gorp, which is a healthy snack for you or your family. And then you can tell others why hiking is fun and inspire others to hit the trail with you. So thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, you can always leave a comment on this video or reach out to me at Joss'n.com. But thank you so much for watching and congratulations on your new badge. Now, if you're watching this video and want to get the handouts, head over to justjoss'n.com where I made these activity handouts. But again, always go to Girl Scouts website to get the activity overview of the hiker badge. Thanks again for watching. I'm Just Joss'n. Bye.